Hi there, how's it going? So this is going to be the last episode of our introductory course in Fingerstyle School. So what we're going to be speaking about today, aside from my amazing Hawaiian parrot shirt, it's one of the nicest days we've had here so far. So I figured I'd dress appropriately to send off our last lesson properly. So what we're going to be speaking about today. It's kind of about bringing in and bringing together all of the things that we've learned throughout the past lessons. So our alternate tunings, our fingerstyle techniques, how we're going to move about the fretboard, and kind of bringing these all together and in relation to actual music making. So essentially, what we're going to do is I'm going to play a piece for you that kind of brings in all the things we've spoken about. And then we're just going to analyze it, and I'll explain to you how I came up with that piece, and how I used it in a professional way, and also how it led to writing particular music, having written that first section. So just as a little disclaimer, it's something you should always remember is always record these little things that you write down, because you never know when you're going to need them or want them again. Never delete anything and never think, oh yeah, that's rubbish or whatever. Record it and keep it somewhere, even if it's just on your phone, on your computer, backup, whatever, because you'll want to come back to it. And I've lost way more music than I've kept so far, and yeah, it's an awful feeling when you want to go back to something that you've completely forgotten. So don't get rid of your music. So what we're going to start off with is we're going to tune our guitars. So we're still in the same tuning. We're in C, G, D, G, A, D. So it's the dadgad tuning that we were in before, with the low two strings dropped a further tone. So yeah. So the piece that we're going to be looking at is this is the intro to the podcast series that I created, which is also on this website here. And it's just I want it to almost sound like a jingle in a way, but still related to fingerstyle and just like a lot of fun basically. So we're starting off with the harmonics on the 12 here, and I'm just going to play it and then we'll talk through it. Okay. Okay, so some parts of that might sound overly complicated, but when we start to analyze it, it's not too bad at all. So one of the things that I've been speaking about throughout all these lessons is the marrying of the music alongside these techniques. So we have, obviously, we'll have the harmonics here. They're the only harmonics we use in the whole thing. And it's just a good place to start off with. It just sounds super funky. And essentially what we're doing is we're just mimicking this. It's just like as if we were playing this chord. That's it. But we're playing it up here. So instead of going, we're playing this instead. The open. And so after that, we're adding some percussion, obviously. it's just simple taps the whole way through. So harmonics, and then all we're doing is it's the same thing. We're just playing the same notes in different places. So we're going. So that's one part, and then the lower parts are just. So just. And then we're just putting those together. Yeah. And I think the thing that separates it is that we're playing the notes separately of the chord. So instead of going, we're going. So we're going. We're playing the 4th fret on the low C string, and then the 5th fret of the D string, and then an open G, and then we're playing this whole chord. So that's your first finger on the 2nd fret of the C string, 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the A string, that's now a G string, and your pinky finger on the 4th fret of the D string, and your open G. Or it's as easy as that. Playing the harmonic. And then we're tapping on top. Yep, and then all we're adding in here is, so that's on your D string here, you're doing open 2, 4, and then we're playing an open G, and then back to the 4, and then hammer on and pull off between the 2 and 3, and then the open. So those two together. Yep, so that's the first section, and then the second section, we're moving down to here, and we've got our first finger on the 7th fret of the A string, that's now a G string, and our 3rd finger on the 9th fret of our D string, and then the rest is just open. Yep, so we've got, so what we're doing is playing those one by one, so we're going thumb, thumb, and then our 1st, 2nd and 3rd finger playing these next strings, our G, A, D, so, and then back to this chord here that we had at the end of the first section, so. And then we're adding in probably the most complicated part, which is, we'll play without the kind of bass notes just now. We've got our first finger on the 2nd fret of our A string, so we're starting on a B note here. We're just going to pull off again, hammer on and pull off on the 2nd to 3rd fret with our first and second finger, and then playing an open G, and then we're putting our middle finger on the 4th fret of that G, and we're sliding down to the 2nd, so that together is. So together. Yep. So then from there, we've got a hammer on between the 0 on an open string, on our G string, to the 2nd fret, and then hammer on and pull off again. So that whole thing together. Then all we're adding is a bass note here, and a tick on the, when you start to slide down that 4th to 2nd fret. So that at full speed. So then the whole thing together. Okay, 2, 3, 4. And then we're just leaving it hanging on the chord. And that's important because deconstructing that piece made me start to think of, well, we'll have this now for Better Days. And it's the same chord, it's still the same, just playing in a different order. So, sorry. And then we also have a bit of a middle section for that same song, Better Days, where we start here. So again, that's why it's important to never get rid of music or anything you've worked on, because even just listening and playing the same things a few times, you start to think, well, that sounds nice, and those are how those patterns work. And I think it just brings in the idea of playfulness, and that's what I think is the most important part when you're learning any instrument, but especially fingerstyle guitar, is like get lost in other people's music and get lost in your own music that you create. Play things the way you've written them, and then muck about with them. that's the thing. If anything, if there's anything I could give you to take away, the main thing would be is to just have as much fun as you can, and just honestly, the best way to put it is to just mess around. Mess around with other people's music, play things in different ways instead of playing staccato. Finger pick things instead. Play things for longer. Play it backwards. Play your patterns in different ways, and that's how you'll get the most out of these new tunings. And almost by accident, you'll learn how to approach these new tunings. You'll learn how to make your own music, because you're just taking the things that you've learned from normal guitar lessons on a standard standard tuning guitar to these fingerstyle tunings, and you'll just get lost in them way easier than you would in a standard tuning guitar, in my opinion. And from there you'll go on to make music that hopefully you can have fun with, and that you can put out into the world. So I hope you've gotten something from this lesson. I hope I did an okay job of deconstructing my pieces and letting you know how to marry all these things we've spoken about, the different tunings, the fingerstyle techniques, how to move around the fretboard, and how to construct a piece from just single notes. And keep an eye out, because on this website I'll start to post more introductory videos and help to break down things into different series and group them together. So there'll be more content on its way. I'm always making new things. So yep, keep an eye out, and I hope you've enjoyed the course and enjoy your playing. That's the most important part. I'll see you soon. Thanks.